So I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I saw Captain America Brave New World, and I honestly have to say, the movie wasn't that bad. I mean, we went through the scores, we went through the early reviews, and I have to say the movie wasn't bad. Now, I bought a cup. I bought the Red Hulk cup. I also bought the shield. I also bought the helmet. I also bought the other cup. Captain America is my favorite superhero, so I had to do it, even though it's not really the Captain America I love, Steve Rogers. It's close enough. But there are some things that I do want to talk about in this video, kind of just breaking down the plot, certain things that I like, because ultimately I like the movie. The movie is exactly what we thought it would be. It was good. Well, maybe some people didn't think it was gonna be that, but it was just maximum good. It wasn't anything crazy. It did some cool things, but it was genuinely just a good movie. Nothing too memorable. There was a few things that I really liked, a few scenes, but this is a spoiler review, so if you don't want it to be spoiled, Captain America: Brave New World, I would click off, go watch it, come back, let me know if you agree with anything. But I did write stuff down that during the movie. I want to point out that my local theater, this wasn't AMC or anything, this is a local theater. It was kind of empty. I mean, there was only, if I had to put, it was me and three of my friends, so four people. If I had to put other, it might have been maybe like 12, 15 other people in the theater. So, I mean, there was a lot of seats empty, so this wasn't like a huge thing. But I did feel like the movie was very reminiscent of Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And it wasn't based off that, but it took a lot of elements from there. Like for example, the beginning kind of introducing Thaddeus Ross as the president was a little bit different, but then we had a similarity with Crossbones that I felt at the beginning was like that. And then I'm going to go through it and other things. But for example, the beginning being like the Winter Soldier, there's a mission that, certain things they were being held back with. There's a protagonist, Captain America, with a kind of secondary character, Falcon, in this movie. Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow in the other movie. They were taking out bad guys, infiltrating something. It felt so similar to that, and there's other things to it. One thing I really liked was that he was eating a red lollipop, Thaddeus Ross, and I felt like it was kind of cool that Thaddeus Ross was eating the red lollipop because he turned into the Red Hulk. This review is going to be all over the place because I wrote these notes down here. Bradley, at this point, they introduce him. If you haven't seen Captain America, I'm sorry, if you haven't seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it's basically that. But Bradley is a super soldier that was kind of tortured in certain things, but he is brought into this for a big part. Bradley is not in control of himself, and there's another similar theme to the Winter Soldier where a super soldier with the super soldier serum is not in control, but it was in a different way. Again, similar to Winter Soldier. The Ruth girl felt like she was up to no good the whole time up until the end, which was fine, but I felt like she was just kind of like, eh. I'm sorry, you're looking at Hulk's ass. Let me move it all like that. I felt like she was just kind of eh. I was shocked that they actually left in the kind of assassination scene, but it made sense why they did. Maybe they cut certain things, but with the whole Trump thing that happened, the assassination, I figured they weren't going to do that anymore, but to my surprise, they did, which I felt like they had balls to do that, so that's cool that they left it in there because it really did add to it. Sidewinder was introduced, and I felt like he barely was doing anything, and it felt like a huge letdown, Sidewinder, to me. There was some cool scenes, like the fight, especially with Captain America and Sidewinder, was really cool, but again, it felt like the scene with Nick Fury against all the people in the car, it did feel similar. It felt like a combination of, that scene as well as Steve Rogers taking on Bucky Barnes, but it was much more like condensed, died down version. We do see a quick heel turn from Ross, where at one moment we saw the clip, it was released online, how he wanted to reassemble the Avengers, and he kind of said he wanted, to help out enhance individuals. So at this point, I felt like he knew that he was the Red Hulk and he was trying to protect himself. Seems like later on he wasn't that, but quick heel turn after the assassination, he turns on Captain America, and it makes sense why he is. At the time, he got literally almost assassinated by Captain America's friend. So, I mean, I understand the quick heel turn. The leader reveal was cool. They kind of teased him throughout the entire thing, and, he didn't look that good, but, it was cool kind of how sinister and weird he was. And if you watched Incredible Hulk 2008, you probably would appreciate this payoff after so many years, literally years later that it came up. My friend made a joke that he looked like a chewed piece of gum. And if you could do with that what you want. So it seems that music kind of triggers these soldiers, and that's what, there is the mind control element, which I thought was a really cool element that they haven't really introduced that or used that much in Marvel. It was cool to see that aspect, and I wish they kind of dove deeper into how he controls minds, how he does that, but they kind of just glossed over that, which was kind of a complaint from me. We find out that Captain America at the beginning of the movie was hired to steal the adamantium from Japan, and there was a whole, Accords thing going on, and that's kind of the plot that Thaddeus Ross is going with right now. It's cool, I guess. Adamantium being introduced in the MCU is cool. Maybe not introduced in the MCU, but introduced in the 616 MCU because we have seen Wolverine at this point, not only in the 51115 universe, but also in Deadpool and Wolverine now. We also find out Ruth was a widow, which was cool. Kind of another tied in correlation to that. There is little hints throughout the movie that Ross is Red Hulk. Obviously, we know he is just from the trailers, but again, the red lollipop, which I thought was cool symbolism, him taking the pills, him getting a little angry, so on, him being a little old and everything. There was a lot of similarity, not similarities, but a lot of a lot of symbolism going on, a lot of things going on to kind of preview the future that he is that, even though we already knew that he was the Red Hulk. He does have a broken relationship with his daughter, which is something that's interesting to find out about. And we find out, why he is and how he almost died, and the whole motivation going on with the leader. That the leader was basically keeping him alive, and when Ross would become president, the leader would be set free. But Ross did not keep up with his, promise, and also keeping Bradley in this jail, knowing that he's innocent at this point, shows that he's still the same old guy, but they kind of change it up a little bit at the end. America versus Japan over the sea was a cool fight scene. It wasn't supposed to happen. Captain America trying to de escalate the situation by not fighting, having to fight eventually. The flying scenes, the helmet, the use of the wings, the use of the shield in the air. I thought that was really cool. A really cool way to show how different he is from Captain America, but also still being Captain America. He's Captain America with wings and everything. Not a grounded Captain America, but more of a flight Captain America. That was cool. Certain things I want to talk about. The reviews were right. Falcon, Captain America, and Red Hulk stole the show. Those three were the best. Falcon, I was so surprised that I would actually like him. I thought he would be like a throwaway character, but I genuinely really liked him. Anthony Mackie's Captain America, of course, his movie, he stole the show. But could you really say he stole the show if it was literally his movie? And Red Hulk, Harrison Ford being on screen was always the delight. Maybe he just brings that aura, Harrison Ford, but it was so nice always seeing him on screen. And eventually the turnout when he became Red Hulk was really cool. There was the fatal thing with Falcon kind of, being the turntable for Captain America, where Falcon, he's kind of learning how to be Falcon. They kind of tease it throughout the movie until he eventually screws up and gets hurt, which leads to the Bucky cameo. The Bucky cameo was in a very emotional scene talking about Anthony Mackie's Captain America, how he wasn't right for the shield and Steve made a mistake, and Bucky talks him into, why he deserves the shield. Steve had the super soldier serum, which Sam says he should have taken, but, he says Steve had the super soldier serum, but still failed many times, and it's not because he had the super soldier serum that he succeeded the amount of times he did, but because he was who he was and he made the right decision. It was a very emotional scene. It was cool to see that. I don't like seeing Bucky as a congressman, but this will lead directly into the Thunderbolts, which would probably why they, Red Hulk is Red Hulk, and maybe they'll break him out or something in Thunderbolts. I did get a poster from my theater that had the post. This is I don't. This is me just making a weird connection, but this is the poster on the other side. The Thunderbolts makes you think: do these movies go hand in hand? I probably right. The leader turns himself in because he has to make a certain plan to that. That he must expose Thunderbolt Ross, and the build up to Red Hulk finally turning into the Red Hulk after being exposed by the leader from articles and playing a previous conversation they had on the phone about Thaddeus Ross admitting to what he did after becoming president. Was really cool to see him kind of build up to become the Red Hulk after the whole movie kind of teased that. And I thought it would be upsetting not to have Red Hulk throughout the entire movie. It worked so well to have Red Hulk only appear in the final ending scene. Now the final ending scene, the battle, I felt was cool but a little lackluster. Sam used his wings, Sam used his shield, he used the vibranium, he used all his little gadgets, and it was enough to stop the Red Hulk. It almost felt like he stopped the Red Hulk a little too easily, but that could be okay. Red Hulk eventually, something where Sam mentions his daughter and he goes crazy. Up until 10 minutes later, he mentions his daughter again and he's okay. It was a little like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. Happy ending. Thaddeus Ross is put into the raft. He sees his daughter, reconnects with her, and that's pretty much it. He goes to see Falcon. Falcon seems okay. Bradley seems okay. Everybody seems okay at the end of the day. We got another movie with Captain America. He kind of looks better with the shield. He did look a little slower than Steve Rogers, which I was very worried about. He would look the same speed when Steve Rogers has the super soldier serum, but they did make sure to make it a point that he does mess up a few times. He does look slower because he doesn't have the super soldier serum. Now, the after credit scene we did go over, it was correct. correct. The leak was correct. Basically, if you don't want to watch that video, the leader is in the raft at the end talking about something is coming, they are coming, and that could be a loads of things. People are saying scrolls, people are saying Secret Wars, people are saying Doomsday, Doctor Doom, Kang, the Kang Council. We don't know who's coming. We don't know. All in all, I would give the movie like a 6.5 out of 10, maybe a 7. It wasn't anything to write home about. It was a good movie. It was upsetting maybe because you expect so much more from the title of Captain America, but I did like the movie. I did like a lot of the scenes. I did like the action. I did like the dialogue for the most part. I like the characters. And all in all, it was a good movie, and that's about it. It was a good movie. I'm happy I saw it. I would watch it again maybe in the future, but that's been my review. Let me know what you thought of Captain America Brave New World. I especially liked it. I'm glad I saw it. I feel like if the rumors were true that there was so many reshoots and this thing was a mess and unreleasable at one point, I think they did a really good job with what they had. A few things I would change, but we're going to get to that in another video. Let me know if you saw Captain America Brave New World and what you thought about it.